Oke, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good afternoon.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Okay, thank you for coming. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to today's webinar for 3-in-1 program Fisheries Agribusiness Department of Fisheries and Marine Science Faculty of Universitas Brawijaya. Okay, first let me introduce myself. My name is Candra Adi Intyas. I am a lecturer on Fisheries Agribusiness Department in Fisheries and Marine Faculty of Universitas Brawijaya, and I'll be responsible for hosting this presentation today. And I'm glad to welcome again for Mr. Paul Gerard King, Ph.D. from Griffith University, who will present about the tips and scientific, how to submit in scientific journal. And this is the second webinar from Mr. Paul Gerard King, PhD. For the biography, I would like to inform maybe for 2 or 5 seconds, maybe 10 seconds about his biography again. Okay, I cannot screen sharing, Pak Agus. Oh, you already screen sharing, so no problem, Mr. Paul.
Yeah.
I didn't need to inform your biography, yeah.
That's okay.
I think everyone is already know about Mr. Paul Gerard King. It's from Griffith University, and this is also the second time he's joined with us. And this is also the second webinars, and still continue to the second again, yeah, another second webinars again. And okay, thank you for your coming again for Ibu Tiwi, Nurjanati, Utami, and Ibu Wahyu Handayani, who already comes, and maybe the other lecturer and audience in here. Okay, Mr. Paul, you could start your presentation. Time is yours. Yeah, wait, I forgot. For the others student or audience in here, if you want to talk or if you want to ask something in this presentation, you could write on the chat, or maybe in the last session for this discussion and answer. I would like to choose, or maybe to or maybe you can directly ask to Mr. Paul Gerard King. But if you want to chat in the middle of his presentation, is also okay. Okay, Mr. Paul, now it's yours for time.
Selamat semua. Wassalamualaikum. Terima kasih Ibu untuk your warm welcome today. Ini kedua kali waktu ini untuk tiga dalam satu program. So I'm very happy to join you again. Selalu senang untuk ikuti program UBI. So my internet connection is a little bit funny, so we have to, if it have a problem with my internet, we can continue. Okay, for today, I will start. Pertama, saya suka acknowledge the kondisi untuk COVID-19, dan karena kita punya kerjasama yang kuat sekali, kita bisa melanjutkan program ini naik online. Ini bagus untuk UB, untuk Griffith University, dan semua akademik yang suka ikut program seperti ini. Oke, mudah-mudahan segera ada vaksinasi untuk COVID-19. Sesudah itu kita bisa face-to-face, muka ke muka untuk presentasi seperti ini. saya suka ke Indonesia, ke Malang, selalu ramai di sana. Okay, and on for today, untuk penulisan artikel, ada beberapa bagian untuk rubrik atau artikel. There's the first part, the bagian depan, the methodology, the findings, temuan, bagian belakang, and of course, sentuhan akhir. It's like formatting. Sesudah jelaskan tentang penulisan artikel, kita akan lihat kepada proses milih penerbit and panduan penulis penerbit, which is the author's guide dari penerbit, and lalu question and answer. Saya pikir hari ini tidak sepanjang minggu lalu, but we will try. Okay. Now, tentang writing an article untuk international journal, ada beberapa cara untuk itu. Bisa coba sendiri. Coba satu, coba dua kali, coba tiga kali, mungkin salah. Kalau salah, yang review artikel akan kembalikan artikel itu. Tapi beberapa tips. Imitate other articles. Menggunakan artikel lain sebagai contoh. Untuk structure, untuk bagaimana mereka membuat atau membangunkan artikel itu. Imitate. Itu biasa untuk belajar keterampilan yang baru. Yeah. Copy the other people atau imitation. No problem. It is not plagiarizing. Untuk cari structure, bentuk untuk artikel dari artikel yang lain, yang menulis dari orang yang lain atau akademik yang lain. And there is no real formula for each article. Tidak ada formula untuk membangunkan artikel. Ada satu yang biasa, tapi banyak cara, banyak pola, style, baik juga. And writing an article is creative. Itu menciptakan, create, Ibu Chandra untuk kata create, cipta, menciptakan.
Menciptakan.
Itu proses untuk menciptakan artikel. Most academic articles seem to be rather standardized. Banyak publisher, penerbit, punya guide untuk standardisasi program. Hampir semua punya front end. Sesudah itu, the methods, lalu the findings, dan the back end. Untuk front end, organisasi, untuk itu, maaf, kadang-kadang front end atau bagian depan, itu satu paragraf yang panjang atau bisa dibagi into beberapa bagian. Kalau satu yang panjang, biasa itu called introduction. Kalau dibagi into beberapa bagian, bisa theoretical background, prior research, and findings from other people. bagian depan menjawab beberapa hal tentang proses untuk yang pertama is the phenomena yang diskusi, the topic. Apa yang diskusi di artikel itu, the domain or the field or the phenomena, the how or the phenomena. And why is it important? Kenapa penting bagian itu? Karena itu mempermukakan topik untuk yang membaca. Ya, kadang-kadang bagian depan itu ada cerita pendek di beginning untuk contextualize the program. This is the phenomena. Introduce the phenomena. Mempermukakan phenomena atau apa yang masalah untuk riset ini. Itu phenomena pertama. Kedua, literature review. What do we know? A literature review itu untuk apa kita sudah tahu. Introduces the reader to the theoretical conversation. It mengenalkan pembaca untuk percakapan theoretical dalam artikel ini. Dalam bagian itu ada beberapa content in it. It may be historically new, ada informasi yang baru, mungkin problem masalah membesarkan, lebih besar dari kemarin. Jadi harus research tentang itu. Theoretically, especially, so things may have changed, and it introduces the reader to the new articles, the new problem, and changes. And especially harus cari informasi dari artikel itu or from journal itu, and harus make sure that hal Anda cocok untuk journal itu. But the domain and you dalam bagian depan harus menarik semua membaca. Have to take their interest in the phenomena, about the phenomena. And then the literature review opens up, memperluaskan diskusi itu untuk dari yang sudah prior literature, and it introduces the discussion so that you can contextualize tulisan Anda. And the literature review harus directly related to the theoretical problem. Kalau problem tentang aberrasi pesisir tidak bermanfaat kalau cari informasi tentang gempa bumi, karena itu tentang pesisir atau aberrasi. So, jadi harus cari and menulis tentang topik itu. Harus make clear the topic. and the theoretical problem. After introducing the literature review, we must say what the theoretical problem is. So aspek yang mana untuk fenomenon ini menarik untuk penelitian ini. What do we know? It is we must find the gap. Literature review untuk cari informasi tentang kita sudah tahu dan also untuk informasi yang belum tahu. Kalau ada gap di dalam informasi, mungkin ada konsep baru, alat baru, maybe lebih modern atau fenomenon lebih besar dari itu. So literature must be directly related to the theoretical problem, to the masalah theoretical. The theoretical problem, what aspect of the phenomena does the literature overlook? It's called the gap. Yang belum tahu. Oversight, mungkin yang lain tidak berpikir untuk termasuk hal itu dalam penelitian Anda. The problem or problematize itu kalau ada hujan deras di sungai di hulu ada banjir di hilir. Hulu correct? I think so. Di hujan lebih intensif, sekarang mungkin banjir lebih intensif. Terus connect problem with would like to the theoretical problem, the gap. Mungkin penduduk loncat cepat di daerah itu. Jadi lebih banyak settlement dibangun di sepanjang sungai. Jadi ada masalah. Masalah pada waktu musim hujan. So the theoretical problem, problematize. Kalau informasi tidak bisa dicari di literature review, itu harus dimasukkan into artikel Anda. Dan kadang-kadang it's susah untuk calculate, hitung problem itu, jadi harus jelaskan program itu. If the literature is incomplete, then nothing to know about. If it's kalau belum lengkap literature itu, jadi harus termasuk untuk selesaikan informasi itu. Maaf, hari ini bahasa Indonesia a little bit slow.
Okay, Mr. Paul.
Yeah.
You could talk in English if you have difficulty in Indonesian.
Yeah, a little bit. Just hari ini, just a little bit. Otak lemot. Hari ini. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, so it only makes sense if you can advance or resolve the debate. We like to advance the debate, to add information, to resolve the debate in a significant way. Then after we look at the theoretical problem, we must state what the research question is. So there are a number of ways of formatting the question. There are six question words in English: who, what, when, where, why, and how. So jadi siapa, apa, kapan, di mana, kenapa, dan bagaimana. Semua ada question words untuk research question. Yang biasa and what people like is why and how. Why and how. Kenapa and bagaimana. They are searching words, searching questions to find out, and open questions. Pertanyaan yang terbuka. They are open questions, so the people can explain a little in open instead of yes answer or a no answer. They expand out a lot more. The top academic journals like why and how, but sometimes the why and the how can be what. What is the reason that this is happening? What is the same as why is this happening in that context? But how and why are the two best ways to start a research question. And then the motivation. Next is the motivation for the front end. And it's the motivation. Why are we doing this? Kenapa melakukan research ini? Motivasi mungkin ada masalah di dekat tempat Anda. Itu masalah yang dampak masyarakat itu. Or it may be that you would like to discuss theory. The problem is that the theory has not been explained properly. Theory belum menjelaskan dengan lengkap. Jadi the motivation, why do we do it? That is important in the front end. And the theoretical perspective is how we're going to look at what theory yang mana, the perspective, ini seperti methodology. Dan theoretical perspective, mungkin empirical or qualitative saja, atau interpretive, qualitative saja, before quantitative saja, empirical, numbers only. The interpretive is mainly untuk jelaskan kondisi in place. It's not trying to solve a problem a lot of times. A interpretive, it is looking just to explain the condition. The third type of perspective to take is the critical. We can use both the empirical data and information from other sources, qualitative, from interviews, from focus group discussions. Many times, for quantitative data, informasi data dari survey, data dari untuk comparison di antara informasi baru, data baru, dan data yang lama. We compare them, the theoretical perspective to provide. And the words that we choose, kosakata yang digunakan paling penting. Harus menggunakan kata-kata yang cocok untuk penelitian ini. Ini itu membentuk the perspective, the frame because of the type of language, the type of words, kata-kata yang digunakan. And then the roadmap. Itu yang terakhir dalam bagian depan, the roadmap. How is this set out? Article. Pertama, we talk literature review. We give you information, say on the aberrasi pesisir. Kenapa begitu? The slope of the beach, close to it. All that information we provide with the roadmap. We tell the people fully how we are going to go through the steps. 1, 2, 3. Introduction, a little bit to methodology, literature review, methodology, finding. A quick comment yang singkat tentang semua dalam bagian depan untuk introduce artikel Anda. Sesudah itu, sebentar, are we working? Show the, the method, Mark. The method. Lalu selalu organisasi pertama. Often the shortest version, short method is the shortest section. Bagian yang pendek. Karena tidak harus jelaskan tentang GIS. Kalau GIS, kalau SPSS digunakan, kebanyakan orang sudah tahu tentang itu. Jadi harus sebut method itu. Kalau ada method baru, jelaskan dengan panjang. Kalau method yang biasa, singkat saja. But the organization, we tell what data we are about to put in them. The research context, di mana kalau di Sedang Baru atau di Kupang atau di Bulukumba in Sulawesi, we have to do the context. Berapa penduduk, berapa luas, kondisi di sana, mungkin pencarian hasil, informasi tentang itu. Draw the context. Dan ingat, mungkin Anda sudah tahu banyak tentang kawasan itu, tapi yang membaca mungkin kawasan itu baru untuk mereka. Belum kenal tentang itu, belum tahu. Jadi jelaskan untuk yang pembaca yang belum ke tempat itu. Harus jelaskan. Draw a picture, menggambarkan lukisan tentang kawasan itu. It's the research context. And also the research context will mention the problem, the research content. Why choose that area? Kenapa pilih tempat itu untuk penelitian? Karena ada banjir di sana. Kalau tidak, kalau ada food problem, kalau ada masalah dengan panen di waktu banjir, mungkin ada problem seperti itu. The research context. Yang lain, data collection. Bagaimana cari data untuk itu. Seperti yang sudah disebut, survey, questionnaire and survey. Itu figures untuk quantitative data to be used for it. Maybe for social science, untuk ilmu sosial, survey, interview, wawancara, dan focus group discussions. Mereka biasa dan observasi. Observasi paling penting untuk data collection. Mungkin bisa lihat orang yang malu, dia mungkin mau percakapan, tapi malu. Jadi harus encourage him, informant itu untuk mempermukakan hal yang susah untuk dia. Atau mungkin ada yang lain setting karena percakapan mengganggu rasanya. Kenapa malu tentang topik itu? Try the information, observation, see, look for body language. It's important in or juga untuk bagaimana orang melakukan kegiatan. Mungkin berbeda dalam tempat lain. Kenapa berbeda? Harus observasi tentang itu. Dan data analysis, sesudah cari data-data, harus analisasi. Bagaimana? Dengan kalau untuk survey data, itu untuk SPSS software, atau NVO software, atau just using Excel. Excel digunakan untuk semua informasi. Itu for survey. Untuk wawancara dan focus group discussion, mungkin rekam, record all of the conversation, record semua informasi, dan theme analysis, cari kata-kata yang digunakan sering. Kenapa kata itu digunakan sering? Mungkin ada masalah dengan mangrove forest. Aberrasi karena mangrove forest cut down. We must say how we're going to analyze all of the information and how we compare. Mungkin analisasi untuk timbang, to compare kawasan satu dan kawasan kedua. It's how we compare. Comparison, cari kesamaan, cari kebedaran, comparison, and look from it from there. So that's the data analysis, the methods. But section itu pendek. Kecuali ada method baru. Kalau ada method baru untuk cari informasi, jelaskan. Then the findings, the results chapter, the results section. How do we do it? Lagi organisasi di depan. This section, bagian ini akan present data. Pertama dari survei, kedua dari wawancara, ketiga dari observasi. Itu naik method. Mungkin ada theme. Maybe dibagi data into theme. Mungkin seperti penduduk, demografi, livelihood, the hasil dari livelihood. Ada dan aspirasi untuk livelihood baru. Mungkin you divide them into sections. So that's, you explain that, jelaskan dalam organisasi. Figures untuk foto atau konsep, bentuk konsep, bentuk theoretical, figures, and well, fine. So we give the figures. We quotes dari wawancara dan focus group discussion. What is the word for quotes, Ibu Chandra?
Yes. Quotes. Apa quotes?
A quote, you use the word.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
That's very Indonesian word.
Yes.
Yes. So
Memes. Yeah. Quotes.
Include quotes in your findings. And untuk tables, informasi dari survey tentang demographic, tentang income, tentang expenditure. What's that? Expenditure. Menghabiskan, berapa menghabiskan, and other tables. Yeah.
Pengeluaran. Ya. Yeah.
Anggaran budget, ya.
Yes.
Informasi tentang itu atau maybe tables untuk berapa hujan sebulan atau setahun, mungkin temperature tentang in tables, dan lain-lain, and theorizing. At the end, the final section, we connect the theories to the data. This bagian yang terakhir dalam bagian temuan itu untuk connect to the next section discussion. Jadi pertama, organisasi data dalam figures, quotes, tables, lalu memulai theorize sebelum ke diskusi, bagian diskusi. Because you are creating a link from the findings into the discussion. And you almost introduce bagian itu theorize the theories, how you will start to discuss the back end. The theorizing the findings. Oh, I apologize. I'll come back to you. This is the last section here. In this framework, dalam bentuk ini, mereka termasuk discussion dalam findings. It's not a separate part discussion, because this is the back end. The conclusion is the next section. Bagian belakang. Jadi, for this framework, its findings termasuk diskusi, the theorizing. Saya pikir itu untuk introduction for next section for discussion, but this holds it in the same. The back end. Lalu organisasi pertama. Terus, it's like introduction little paragraph to this section, the organisation. How will we present the data? We will look at the primary theoretical contribution, and then the secondary, contribution yang pertama, contribution yang kedua, or secondary, practical implications, limitations and opportunities, and then a quick wrap-up, a bungkus at the end, the conclusion. So the primary theoretical contribution, is the core contribution, your new finding. Apa yang baru Andachari. Hey, speak loud. Tell people the primary contribution from research ini maybe that you a new method for preventing flood, a new method for solving the problem of beach erosion, aberrasi pesisir. There may be a new way to do it. So your initial contribution, atau kalau theoretical, seperti biasa Ph.D. begitu, a theoretical contribution. Kalau saya bisa membesar sedikit tentang saya dan PhD saya masuk tentang intergroup threats, ancaman di antara grup-grup untuk itu masalah untuk development. Karena grup ini tidak suka yang lain, mereka menerima lebih banyak dana dari pemerintah dari kita, jadi tidak suka mereka. Jadi tidak kerjasama dengan mereka untuk membangunkan masyarakat ini. So we talk about that was the primary one for mine. Aspirasi dari micro and aspirasi dari macro berbeda, tidak sama. Jadi karena ada ancaman, threat between others. Kalau sebelum program, kalau wawancara dengan masyarakat atau konsultasi, lebih dekat. Yo, Australia. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Terus ya. So that's the primary one. The secondary one is the contributions and implications related to literature in the front. Kalau ada informasi baru untuk literature, tapi itu tidak tentang hal ini, but masih tentang literature. Secondary, it came along as another contribution, but not the contribution that we were trying to find. Yang kita suka coba itu primary contribution. Yang lain datang dengan primary contribution itu secondary. Termasuk informasi itu dalam back end. That's the secondary. The practical implications ini seperti rekomendasi untuk masyarakat, rekomendasi untuk pemerintah nasional, pemerintah daerah, rekomendasi. Kalau begini, mungkin masalah itu diselesaikan. Itu rekomendasi. Practical implications. Dan untuk semua kita dalam Fakultas Perikanan atau seperti social science, kita coba menyelesaikan hal, masalah. Jadi practical implications for it. Next, the limitations and the opportunities. Why was the data not enough? Mungkin ada tidak cukup informasi dari GIS untuk land cover, land change. Mungkin informasi susah to obtain cepat, or maybe anggaran sedikit, kecil saja. Jadi tidak bisa field. It is a limitation. Anggaran budget, Ibu Chandra?
Yes.
For budget, anggaran?
Yes. Correct.
The word for budget. Anggaran, yes.
Anggaran.
So, kalau anggaran sedikit saja, mungkin ada, mungkin penelitian just, belum lengkap. So, limitation, opportunity for the future, opportunity untuk masa depan. Kalau anggaran lebih besar, penelitian bisa ke tempat untuk menimbangkan semua tempat seperti itu. Kenapa tempat itu terkena banjir? Kenapa tempat lain tidak? Compare. Kalau ada semakin data, semakin baik untuk rekomendasi. But kalau data sedikit saja, mungkin rekomendasi sedikit 5. Untuk rekomendasi yang tepat, termasuk banyak. Dan lalu, conclusion. Not everyone has a conclusion chapter in their article. Tidak harus conclusion. Karena hampir semua sudah didiskusi dalam findings and dalam primary theoretical contribution, secondary and practical implications. But kalau last word atau kalimat yang terakhir yang paling penting untuk penelitian ini itu conclusion. 2, maybe paragraph kecil tentang yang paling penting dari research ini. Conclusion, a wrap up, a bungkus, wrap it up for the findings. And finishing touches. Tentuan akhir, very, very important. Almost as important as writing the thesis. Kalau ada banyak kesalahan dalam artikel itu, di penerbit, kembalikan. Kau tebak sampah. Tidak suka begitu. Jadi, edit and format. Edit the spelling, ejaan, tata bahasa, dan lain. Kalau bahasa Inggris, find someone who is very good with bahasa Inggris and ask them to review it, to edit it. Dan when you send to international journals, harus dalam bahasa Inggris biasa. International journal. Kalau for Indonesian audience, bahasa Indonesia banyak artikel dalam Google Scholar dan search engine lain untuk bahasa, banyak bahasa. Tapi for international journal, bahasa Inggris. So you check, you format all your writing, the text. Make sure that it is, spelling is correct and grammar is correct. You have headings so that the little heading in between sections is spaced, and you can see it maybe block the font for the heading only so that you can see it well. Also ask other people to read it. Bertanya orang lain, koleg, untuk membaca. Kalau mereka mengerti apa Anda menulis, baik. Tapi kalau mereka bilang, kurang jelas, memperbaiki ya, sebelum submit. So that's the untuk tables dan figures, semua column correct, the font all the same size, maybe all center, all to left, all to right. Kikiri, kikanan, we can start to dance here. Taria, but harus. Kikiri information, semua. Kalau suka di tengah, semua. Kalau di antara garisan, di sini. Semua ke atas atau semua ke tengah. Semua, check. Use your eyes. Ya, melihat. 3, 4 kali. Look for kesalahan. Memperbaiki. All right. So, yes, with your friends. Okay, that is how we write. We just go back again. And we can see dari slide ini ada beberapa bagian. Ada front end, bagian depan, method, cumuan, yang kadang-kadang termasuk diskusi. Bagian belakang itu rekomendasi dan lain-lain. Dan conclusion, ya, yang paling penting, the contributions to the literature, contribution to literature. And the last is to edit and format. Make sure what they call that, siapkan semua baik. Okay. We just quickly go into, because we have just a little bit left to talk, which publication outlet best matches your topic. Aplikasi mana yang paling cocok? Coba cek dengan teman Anda, dari kolega Anda, jurnal yang mana Anda kirim artikel itu. Lihat di reference list untuk artikel lain. Mungkin artikel lain di dalam literature review Anda dekat topik Anda. Cek untuk reference list itu, or di mana itu published. Maybe choose the same publisher. So you have to do that. Ask the colleagues, examine the bibliography, scan journals published, so have a look for other journals. Cari Mr. Google, topik ini munching illegal, information tentang munching illegal. Try and use the same journal article. And in the library, kalau ada perpustakaan yang bagus, mungkin ada orang kerja di sana yang bisa menyusulkan journal untuk Anda. But ask. Bertanya. Lihat, pilih. Lalu. And confirm that the short list and cari informasi. List. Dot point. Oh, mungkin ini, mungkin itu, ada yang lain, yang satu, yang mana. Yeah? Confirm from the list. Ask friends, check lagi. And consider open source journals. Tahu open source journal? Journal access terbuka? Itu langsung ke internet. Teman Anda or people in your area bisa cari informasi langsung. Kalau tu journal lain yang tidak open access, mungkin harus membayar untuk subskripsi untuk jurnal artikel itu, atau embargo 1 atau 2 tahun. Embargo mengerti tidak bisa ke public, ke umum. Jadi harus jadi open access lebih baik dari just yang lain. But harus membayar untuk open access and kadang-kadang mahal sekali. So that's So ini mereka suggest article yang journal article yang dibuka. Of course, we get more articles out there. Lebih banyak artikel menerbitkan. So open access publishing articles are being cited more. Karena bisa membaca more. Kalau ada gratis, tidak harus beli dari internet. Bisa membaca, bisa cite dalam artikel Anda. So that's it there. Depending on your discipline and open access journal, kadang-kadang open access journal doesn't matter. Mungkin in say medical circle kedokteran itu untuk just beberapa orang saja. Okay. Ini contohan of publisher author guides. I will go, and for these, cocok untuk Fakultas Perikanan, Marine Studies, it's a author information online. Kalau ada author tutorial, bagaimana submit author informasi untuk bagaimana format, untuk style, pola untuk tulisan, author tutorial untuk bagaimana submit. And a Canadian paper submission guide, just ini contoh-contoh untuk journal. Journal of Rural Studies. Itu yang bagus, tapi kalau untuk open access, mahal sekali. Saya pikir mungkin $5,000 US untuk satu artikel. 4,000, sorry, 4,000. I'll show you soon. Ocean and Coastal Management, another good one. Saya pikir untuk open access, $3,000. Untuk saya pikir Marine Studies, $1,000. Ada yang lain yang gratis. Tapi kalau gratis, perhatian, mungkin itu what they call a journal yang kurang baik. Tidak kuat. And tidak bagus untuk reputasi Anda. So jaga reputasi Anda waktu pilih journal article. I just see if I can share some more, a couple there. Oh, a little bit of reference there. I'll unstop the share and start a share of another article.
Okay.
Sebentar. Let's see, what can we do? Why is it not sharing? I will try again. I think my computer is on the screen. Okay. Informasi untuk Marine Studies, author information, informasi untuk penulis. Itu hampir lengkap. Okay, the abstract. See title page, semua informasi untuk title page. PDF ini bisa dicari di internet under the website untuk maritime studies. Termasuk untuk the title page, the abstract. They tell you how long the abstract. 100 keywords, how many? Very important to look at this before you start writing. Sebelum mulai menulis, check ini. Check the guide. See, it says font. Mereka suka font New Times 10. Number the pages. So terus number the pages. and use tab stop, not space bar, untuk shift to the side, tab for them. Headings, no more than 3 levels. 3 levels for the headings, 1, 2, 3. An abbreviation untuk singkatan. Harus pertama kali digunakan di brackets, sesudah itu menggunakan singkatan. References in text, semua informasi tentang ini. Okay, and how to cite in text untuk reference list. Semua yang sudah di-cite dalam rubrik harus di reference list. Kalau di reference list harus di-cite dalam artikel. Bagaimana format tables? Outline. Ini kalau kirim informasi dalam table, how many dots per inch? The sensitivity of your articles. Avoid information. Must fit in the columns, figures. And so harus cocok untuk margin. Sering people outside of the margin. Okay, I just tried to go to one more. We're running out of a lot of time. We're going over here. Now share. Which one is this? Slide, no, that one, maritime study information. Oh, no, we won't go to that one. That one is paper submission guide. Okay. Ini untuk rubric the journal article yang lain. This is CCE. So informasi ini for dictionary, English, American, British, Australian. Okay. Tapi kadang-kadang mereka say bahasa Inggris Amerika saja atau bahasa Inggris Britain saja. Check before you go. For this one, 3,000 sampai 8,000 kata. Untuk rural studies, 10,000. Mereka suka artikel yang 10,000 kata. Tapi untuk ini 3 sampai 8,000. Read ini, cari first, preparation the text. Lalu, font, times. Kebanyakan font 10. Ada informasi, see untuk heading yang berbeda untuk journal ini. Okay, just one more I'll show you to share because I think this is very important. Show you how to get it. Okay. Data ini itu semua journal yang di Scopus. Itu list untuk tahun 2020 for 2020. Ini yang baru. Bisa cari articles, all the articles names dalam ini. And kalau mereka masih, si kolom ini ongoing, mulai 2010 tahun masih, but seperti ini, yang ini. So untuk journal, accounting, business and financial history, itu tutup dalam tahun 2010. Cari yang masih. Dan kalau dalam list ini, berapa dalam ini list? Oh, saya pikir banyak, ribuan. Semua dalam ini coba informasi, go down, check. Maybe can we check for perikanan? If you go to the Scopus website, this is on the Scopus website. You go down, you go to auto. We can find banyak. Go down. Obviously, biomedical seperti ini tidak cocok untuk Fakultas Perikanan. Tapi we keep going down. Okay, we stop that just for one tick. Said, where are we? We'll try that one. Any website, front page website, untuk Scopus, next Excelsior. Check the top, check the information. Okay. Okay, I think okay. Saya pikir sudah. Okay, just beberapa referensi sana, mungkin terus lebih. But itu tentang publisher guide. Saya mengusulkan Anda langsung ke website untuk journal. Cari author guide, cari information on bagaimana submit. All journals have that there. Membaca. Okay. So now today we have gone through the how to structure and write the article, and just some tips and hints on how to find the correct journal article for you. That's important, to find the correct one. Many kebanyakan journal bertanya untuk beberapa reviewer. Harus name beberapa reviewer for them. So, ada pertanyaan. Maaf kalau lama, but hopefully bermanfaat.
Okay, thank
Saya
you.
pikir hari ini lebih pendek dari yang lalu.
Yeah, but one hour.
Yeah.
I think some.
Oh.
Yeah, I think same, Mister.
Okay, so
yeah, almost 1 hour the last time.
yes, and for this time maybe a little bit over. They're very similar.
Yeah.
Yes.
There are 2 questions from in the chat.
Yes.
One is from Bu Wahyu. Is Bu Wahyu there? So maybe Mr. Agus first, yeah.
Okay.
Mr. Agus, you can directly talk to Mr. Paul.
Okay, thank you very much, Miss Chandra. Okay, Mr. Paul, I would like to ask about this topic about the how to finding the research gap. As we can see that when we make introduction, when we write introduction, one of the point is research gap about the other research. Do you have any tips to write the research gap? Thank you very much. This is my question. Thank you.
The research cap, did you say?
Yes,
Or the
research cap.
literature review?
Yes, literature review. So we can find out the research cap.
Okay. Well, membaca journal article. Coba yang maybe one article you like, very close to your topic, very similar. Look at the bibliography or the research list for that article and find other articles that are similar, or use a phrase for a search. When you go to your search engine, more than just word. Maybe for me at time, illegal fishing. Atau kalau saya suka pabrik dalam bahasa Indonesia, atau penghidupan yang berkelanjutan untuk nelayan. And all the information come up like membaca abstrak saja. Kalau ada informasi di sana yang cocok, fine. Kalau tidak, buang artikel itu. Membaca abstrak saja, but use keyword search.
Oh, just keyword.
Keyword search, and maybe you have to look at 50 articles, 50 artikel, but mungkin 15 saja digunakan. Yang lain tidak. Tidak buang untuk simpan untuk artikel lain kali. Or maybe, but don't read now. If it is not important for this research now, don't read. It makes your head, maybe shift your thinking too much or change your topic. Once you choose your topic, stay to that topic. So for your title, for your article, use the explain, whether it be the important part is the method or the problem. The problem may be landslide, tanah longsor. So tanah longsor di Palu, coba. Information articles come up like that. I'm sure that you are already very aware of that. You're one of the very smart ones in UB, I know. You'll come through very quickly. So I'm sure that you know a lot already. But I hope I answered the question there, how we find the literature review. Or you said you used the word cap, I think.
Yeah. Okay. Yes, it is very clear. Yeah.
Yeah, but if I did not answer the question correctly, we can ask again. But it's to look at bibliography of other very good articles, to use keywords for your search, and talk to some of your friends. Our colleague di sana, share a database, sources between each other, and look for I will talk about. It is also important in that sense to know your friends or colleagues who are writing about the same topic. Cite them, cite each other. Whether you agree or disagree, mungkin tidak setuju, no problem. Cite them. Saya tidak setuju dengan komen-komen itu, karena. But you have your friends. It helps you get citations. It will help me get citations. If I cite Ibu Chandra has an article, I cite Ibu Chandra. And then when Ibu Chandra writes, she cites Paul King. and Eddie Cecilio, and Budi Rasosodhramo, and Ali, and then your friends, and then when they write, they cite you. But try not to cite yourself too much. Kalau Anda mungkin sudah 5-10 artikel, itu biasa dalam Amerika, Serikat Amerika, untuk mereka cite themselves. Lebih dari 50 citation dari Amerika, mereka cite sendiri, diri sendiri. It's a little bit tricky, a little bit deeper sort of thing. It's but you a group of friends and a professor from ANU, Australian National University, he called it your circle of esteem. Your good friends that write about the same article. You do not have to agree with them, but you still talk about the same topic. And then and that helps everybody. Okay.
Okay, thank you very much. Very clear for me, Mr. Paul.
Yeah,
And then,
okay.
what if there is a contradiction, the contradiction between this reference? For example, in literature A, there is explained that the effect is non-significant. The others said that the effect is significant. So what about that?
You use both. You say author number 1 says this, author number 2 says this, my findings setuju dengan nomor 1 tapi tidak setuju dengan nomor 2. It is very good to add in when people do not agree from the literature. It shows that you have done a very good literature review, that you have gone to people that do not agree with you and to people that agree with you. It is the full story. Charity Young Lanka. And very good to do that. And in fact, a publisher will go, big tick. Very good for doing it. And when you do your PhD, do that. When will you come to Australia to do your PhD?
As soon as possible, Mr. Paul.
So in your literature review, you have those that all articles, those that agree and disagree. That's the way to do it. In fact, sometimes if you do not do it that way, your examiner goes, oh, belum lengkap. Kembalikan untuk memperbaiki. Even in PhD, they will go, you need to add more into your literature review and into your discussion chapter. And sometimes they will tell you articles, please read this article, or they will name 3 or 4 articles. Please read these and enter them into your literature review or discussion page. Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Paul.
Okay.
Okay, thank you for Mr. Agus and the answer from Mr. Paul. The second one is from Bu Wahyu Handayani. Bu Wahyu, you could ask directly to Mr. Paul.
Thank you, Bu Chandra. Halo, Pak Paul.
Hello, how are you?
Hello. I'm fine. I just want to ask you about while we already try to find the secondary theoretical contribution in our article by our research, but we still have no the secondary theoretical contribution. What must we do next? Do you
Sorry,
have?
just repeat that last little bit, if you could.
Pardon?
Just the last part, if you could repeat. ulangi
Okay.
yang terakhir.
But we still have no the secondary theoretical contribution. What
You don't
must
know the contribution, did you say?
the secondary, the
The
primary?
secondary.
Okay, I will mention
All right.
about my plan in my article
Yes.
about local wisdom of the community at the
Yes.
spring, sumber
Yes.
mata air.
Yeah.
The
Yes.
the the main contribution is to enlarge anthropological science, anthropology,
Yes.
that we sometimes we have no map about the local knowledge. Okay, that is the main of contribution.
Yes.
But I can't to find the secondary.
Oh, the secondary. Maybe if you do not see a secondary, that is okay. But if there is a secondary, you can mention it. I'm trying to see what they're saying in here.
Okay, I get
Yes,
idea. I want to ask you about the idea.
yes, the
Just
idea.
come out.
Yes, the secondary contribution. It it is not your, as said, the primary one. You may
Uh-huh.
see other um, aspects about the Sumba Maraya that you did not think. Maybe uh, it maybe it goes dry sometimes. Kering kadang kadang, or there's you try and you see that people use a new method to find their water. Maybe something if it goes if your Sumba goes dry, maybe they need to either harvest rainwater or
Okay.
use a tanker, iron tanker. But your secondary maybe uh, there are many houses here that can catch the rainwater,
Okay.
that can
Looks like
harvest the rain.
in my previous knowledge about that is like implication.
Yes, that it is an implication, a secondary. Yes, it doesn't have to be a theory. It can be
Uh-huh.
an implication or something new, and in that, that can become a recommendation for further research.
Okay, get it.
When in the field, you might learn something from local knowledge that you did not know before,
Mm-hmm.
but you go, that has an impact on that, but I will mention it here, but not
Mm-hmm.
research it. Maybe something would be for, if I could think of an example of marine protection areas that
Okay.
are from the state or the Department of Environment, who set up the Ministry of Environment, that set up marine protection areas, but then there, in some areas, they use conservasi adat. They have
Okay.
their own area. So you might go, this area is strong with this concept of conservati adat. What do they call it? Hollow information. And so you can say this area is strong with conservasi adat, but we are not looking at that for this program, for this article. That will be another. You mention it in conservation if you're doing MPA, but you want to talk about the national government regulations.
Mm-hmm.
You can mention the local conservasi local,
Yes.
but you don't go into big detail. You stay at little detail, and you say the implication is that the national MPA regulations may affect the local regulation. That's the implication or the secondary. For further for further research, we will look at the local program of conservation and how does it help the national, or do they work together or they don't work together? Sometimes they pull apart from each other. Sometimes they work together. So, but you at your first might be just about the implementation of marine protection areas from the national level.
Okay, it's
You would
very clear.
mention, yes, you would mention the other style and then maybe say, next time I will research that.
Okay,
Okay.
it's very inspiring for me. Thank you so much, Pak Paul. Okay, Bu
That's
Chandra, thank
okay.
you.
Thank you, Bu Wahyu and Mr. Paul. Maybe there is still another question from attendance. Okay, wait, while we waiting for another question, I would like to ask you, Mr. Paul, for make a roadmap because it's also new for us, from us, and why is must input in journal, how to make a good roadmap, and what is could you
Roadmap.
explain more? Yeah, roadmap.
What the roadmap is doing
Mhm.
is
And how
it
to
is
make a roadmap.
well, a roadmap is simply telling the reader
Mhm.
how you have put the article together, what will come first and second. See, it describes the contents of the paper, the rest of the paper. So that is in the introduction section, or the bagian depan, the roadmap. It you say it just helps the reader from reading the introduction only. He then knows a lot more about the article before he reads it.
Mhm.
I shouldn't say he, maybe she, before they read it. It is just making complete for introducing the article. It is like the conclusion paragraph of the introduction.
Like abstract?
The, no, it's not. No, not an abstract. It is just telling the people that they will read about what they will read about. First of all, I will mention the topic and the problem and why it is important. So I meant you might write. First, I will discuss the literature on sustainable livelihoods that are there. That is the introduction part, and then you make the comment. And the data that I have chosen to talk about sustainable livelihoods is their income, what their work is now, pekerjaan sekarang, pekerjaan alternative. So that's in your roadmap. Then you tell the people just very quickly how you're going to collect the data, what data, and how you're going to collect it. It is just a part of the introduction. So you tell them a little bit about what they will find in the methods section, a little bit what they will find in the findings, and then a little bit what they do in the background section. That's the roadmap. It's like a peta.
And
That's
we
what it
put
is.
in introduction.
Put in the introduction as your last couple of sentences before you go to method.
Okay.
It's
Yeah,
like
yeah.
the final little bit, the wrap up of your introduction,
Mhm.
to tell the
Okay.
people almost what's next, in which stages, how it's coming, and a little bit about what they'll read. And yes, when you said an abstract, it is a little bit like an abstract. with a, but not as long, of course.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
I'm not doing that. So I
until,
will add
yeah,
roadmap now to my journal.
you know, maybe you
May
only
I?
need 2 sentences or 4 sentences, maybe 50 to 100 words.
Okay. Yes.
Yeah.
Bu Wahyu?
Yeah. May I
Yes.
continue the Bu Chandra question
Yes.
about the roadmap? Is about our research only, or we can combine with others?
No, the roadmap is just about what they will read in your article.
Okay. Thank
In the
you.
methods section, I will explain the methods that I use to collect the data. In the findings, I will present the data on rainfall, on uh, temperature, and about flooding, how to overcome flooding. And then you will put in just a quick little, what you might say, the recommend. It will be followed by recommendations to the government and to the community. You don't have to say what the recommendations are, but you're telling them that it will be there and they will find it when they go.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
Yes, Mr.
usually
Paul.
people have a fairly big section like that at the end of their introduction chapter for a PhD or a thesis. Usually the last part of the dissertation or the thesis of chapter 1
Mhm.
is the roadmap. Chapter 1 will tell
Okay.
you this, chapter 2 will do this, chapter 3 will tell you this. That's the roadmap. Yeah.
Okay. That's why it's new for me.
All right. Oh, I'm sure you have done a
uh,
dissertation or a scriptsy. The same for
yeah,
your scriptsy.
scriptsy.
It
Yeah,
could be
but
the same in the last part of your scriptsy, what they will
yeah,
read in the next chapter.
yes. Usually see only in my journal just introduction like lit, some literature review like some literature only. I'm not include roadmap on there.
Right.
Yeah. Before I ask again, there and one question from Butiwi Nurjanati
Yeah.
Utami. Um, maybe you could directly ask to Butiwi, Mr. Paul. Butiwi. Eh, you could ask to Mr. Paul Butiwi. Butiwi. Oh, okay. The question from Butiwi, there are theoretical gap and research gap. Should we describe both
Okay.
of it
Yeah.
in our article? Yes.
If it is important, yes. The theoretical gap, yes, because it can make very much a difference. So theoretical gap may be a new way of looking at the problem, and the research, there may be a new way of collecting data, or maybe there has not been a comparison done before to compare two different sites. Yes, you would mention them in it, especially if you were going to fill a gap, as we say, mengisikan gap itu in the article. You would definitely mention it in the article. And then if it's sometimes you might say, this gap has been noticed in the theoretical, that, and this might be in the final, you mention in the introduction, and then in the final part you will say, we did not discuss that in this article because it was not important, but it is good for future research to use the new method or to fill the gap that you have found. But if it is for this one and you want to fill that gap, mengisikan gap itu, yes, you mention it. And you mention, confirm exactly what the gap is. And a gap in method might be new equipment, a new Landsat for GIS. This research has not been done with the new Landsat data collection methods yet. That is a gap in methods. Or the other one is there's a gap on flooding. The people did not search for mangrove deforestation in their articles. I will talk about mangrove deforestation here. Or it only has a small impact in this area, but we know it has a major impact in another area. That will be another research. So if it is a gap for your article, yes, mention it, Jalaskan. If it is a gap in something, another research topic, mention it, and at the end, that's one of the opportunities for further research. Sometimes you don't mention it in your article if you want to do that new research, because if you mention it in the article, someone else will go and do it before you. Yeah. So the gaps are very important, and that is in PhD, that is what you look for, to fill the gaps. Yes. Okay, does that answer that question there to Ibu Wayu?
Again.
It did that answer the question okay?
It's from Butiwi actually, but
Oh, Butiwi, yeah. Oh,
yeah.
right, but right, yes, sorry.
I think she has a problem connection.
Oh,
because,
yes, you're right.
Yeah.
Was Butiwi, yes.
Yes. Now she is also in PhD, also in project PhD from Wahyu also. Wahyu and Butiwi now it's study PhD.
S3.
And Pak Zainal.
And Pak Zainal, yes.
Yeah. And Paku? Yeah.
Pak Zainal, yes.
Right. Yes.
That's why maybe the question is very heavy.
Yes. It is always hard to find the gap.
Yeah.
Because when nothing is there, how do you see it? If it is not there, how do you see it? It has to come from up here, thinking about what other people do. And they say, conceptualize your problem and think about how you are going to solve the problem. And Ibu Wayu, what is your topic for your STIGA?
About the local knowledge community, as I mentioned before.
You're right. And whereabouts? Where is your, you do case study?
Yes, right.
Yeah.
3 or 4 area.
Yes.
That we have spring there. And what is the difference between them to manage the spring?
Right.
And I want to compare between all area.
Right. All right. Because I know in some areas, say in Landu, in Roti, in Desalandu, they have a problem with water there, sumber air. It's difficult and sometimes goes dry, so they ration. Each family is only allowed to have, I think, 50 litres per day, or so many, or maybe 20 litres per day of fresh water. And then for dirty water, they can use for cleaning and so on, for other things. But for cooking, maybe it's only 20 litres a day of fresh water. When it runs out, they must bring in water. But it's on a little island. So the water has to go from Roti Island to Pulau Landu on a little boat. And so they have to onto the boat, take it over. But on the island now, also on the hill, the Bukit di Belakang Sumba, they have a wall to make the rainwater come to the center, to direct menghadirkan the water down towards the Sumba. So that's the way they handle that. But others are different. For another I know near Kupang and TTS, they pump water from the river up to the well, but it's a long way. So they have a NGO build to install the well, to build the well and to install a pump from the river. So that's, but different, as you said, different ways manage it. Different places manage their water in different ways. And
Okay.
and for places like Labuan Bajo and for some of the islands at Pulau Seribu, because of banyak tourists, they have a real problem.
Yes, right.
Yeah.
About rubbish, something like that.
Then rubbish, problem with rubbish, air bersih,
Yes.
sanitasi,
Sanitize.
sampah. Wow.
Yes.
Yeah, but for your one on Sumber Air, yeah, it's a big problem. And one of
Yes,
the
right.
master students from UNHAS, I'm editing some of his work. He is investigating rainwater harvesting to help with the water.
Mm.
And how can they do that? Yeah.
The main point about the problems here is about the management between local knowledge and government.
Right, yes. Do they have palm?
Yes, but the spring already handled by government, especially like PDAM,
Yeah,
perusahaan daerah air minum.
yeah,
So community near the spring, they can't access about that.
right.
Yes, sometimes. But in Sumber Awan, in Malang,
Yeah,
uh, the community handle it by themselves, and it is very very good
yes,
in management. So I want to compare between some area that is my how to say temuan
yeah, yes,
uh, in order
right,
to enlarge anthropology knowledge.
right. So one place it sounds like they have very strong social capital,
Yes, right.
and other places with weak social capital could not do it themselves. But yes,
Yes, but
local
the next
knowledge, oh,
problem,
very important. Paling painting,
yes,
yes,
but the next problem is how to draw the flow chart framework of research in article.
yes. Check other people, see how they do
Okay.
it. Now, so I'm sure there would be many other research in different areas on Sumba Aya and so, or on their concepts. Have a look at what they do and massage it. See if it helps you or where your new part is that you see. Add that in. See, sometimes not just social capital, but cultural capital. They have a strong joining together. They have a strong ada. And that was the same like for the marine protection areas that do use their conservasi ada. They have strong social capital, strong social psychology. They
Yes, right.
think together. They think about it properly. And of course, as Eddie Cicillo would say, sometimes there needs to be social change to solve a problem. Yeah,
Yes. Thank you.
yeah. But very good. I'm interested in that.
Thank you. Maybe you can help me as a second writer or something else.
Yes. Now the other one, oh, sorry, that's I'm digressing. Are there any more questions? I will say a little bit more. Remind me about Pak Eddie and Kolamudan
Yes, right.
a little bit later. Okay. Ibu Chandra, are
Yeah,
there other questions?
maybe
Ada pertanyaan lain?
ya, ada pertanyaan lain. Is there any question from attendant? Okay. Okay. I think there is no, but I have
That's
some
okay.
question.
Okay.
Only one or two questions.
No, I'm
Actually,
not
three,
rich.
four.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mister. Actually, I try to make a journal to Scopus, but
Mm.
I'm still new by about Scopus. So I see on your presentation is try how to uh, try to put our article in Scopus. But could you explain more about the step so I can try to I can try to make that step to me because I'm not yet. I'm still have planning to put my journal to Scopus because I think it's difficult to us, to me especially.
No, many Indonesian people have articles in Scopus journals, and I think that your dictee like it to be, is it dictee or your Ministry of Pendidikan, they like you to put in Scopus because they
Yes.
are a stronger and more, there's more rigor, as they call more rigor, they're a stronger. If articles go there, they're a stronger article. And more people will read them and have faith in the data because it has been reviewed. You to choose again to choose the correct journal to submit to is important. And the way to do that is really just to talk to your colleagues, to go to Scopus and have a look, because some of them will have an area where it's about rural studies, and all of the rural studies journals will come up, or it might be about biomedical, all of theirs, and you can put them into sections. I think, as we were saying before, to have a look at the, so talk to your colleagues, have a look at the bibliography of other papers that you'll read that you think are important, that you will cite in your article, and then go to the website and have a look, because many of the submission is different for different people, all very similar, but just little bits and pieces are different. Now, I was going to show you one other that, and I might be able to do it if I can. Let's see. I'm just having a look for another. No, that's not. I'll just see if I can bring it up. I think that's it. Yes. All right. I'm just going to show you this article. Ah, yes. Now, what I'm showing you here is what has come from one of the journal articles. I think this is marine studies, and they call this is tutorial for the authors, and a lot of them on their website have either a video tutorial on how to submit, and it's called the editorial, from the editorial manager. Now, if I go through this, and it's quite a full document, it tells you how to log in. It then talks about submission style one, the submission interface one, and it gives you all of the information. here, how to add and remove authors, how to put in the authors, the secondary submission, enter your title and your long title and your short title. It tells you how to do it, where to put in the keywords and the abstract. But if I go down, and then this is interface number 2, and then it tells you about the fees, the tracking the submission once you submit to the website, how to come back and check, or whether they say that you need to review, and so on. So submitting a revised and then how to submit the revised manuscript. But I'll show you how they do that on this. It's quite, they actually show you photographs of the screen captures of the different sections. This is what this article does. These are screen captures, and it shows you what you will see when you go to do your submission. So that is what that front page will look like, and you go to it. That's a screen capture. So it's telling you how to fill that in. This is on the author tutorial, or the author guide will have some of this, but this is the tutorial, submission tutorial. And it goes through, and see, this is another screen capture for when you want to select your personal classifications, and it will explain what they are. Rank personal. This whole article shows you every screen capture of how, look at even, what was that one? It even points to where to find click points. And for you to submit, to learn how to do this, you would go to the website, have a look for this information, and then maybe spend one night reading it when you're home.
Okay.
Minimum copy, minimum juice, you know, listen to music, mandanga music, and spend one night looking. Or maybe with your friend, maybe you and Ibu Wayu one night. You go to each other's house, you go, okay, tonight we will look at how to submit for this journal article. And by the end of that 1 or 2 hours, you will have a lot more information. You're able to do it.
Okay.
There is only one real way to learn how to submit a journal article, and that is to do it. It's almost use all the guide, the tutorial and the author guide, and then teach yourself, or 2 of you sit together for an hour or 2 and read through that article that is called tutorial. And you will find that nearly every publisher will have the same. And if they don't, choose one that has the same to make it easy for you. See, that's the 2017 version.
Okay.
So I'm sorry, without you finding the information for your journal, first of all, choose the journal, and sometimes have a look at 2 or 3 and find the one that's easier to submit, especially for your first 1 or 2 articles. You know, work smart, not hard.
Yes. And you just show me about the Excel of the data list of Scopus.
Yes.
How can I get that?
If you go into your just normal Google and write in Scopus and press search, it will come up and say Scopus list for 2020.
Oh,
will be one of the search.
So
I found it in my
from
first search today. When preparing for this, I saw I had an old one. I went, no, I'm sure I have a new. There will be a new one. I just went Scopus, and in the selection, one of them said Scopus List 2020. Click on that. It is there.
Okay. I thought it's difficult, or so just the keyword is Scopus 2020 in
Yes.
Google Scholar.
Yes.
And
It doesn't even have to be in Google Scholar. In normal Google, will bring it up. Yep.
okay, for avoid journal predator, it's also from the data in the Excel.
The predator, usually, no, there will be no predator journals listed on the Scopus. All of them will be good, proper journals to use. Some of them that Scopus find out are predator, they close and say, we do not accept from you anymore in our Scopus list. And sometimes you will see, if you know a weak journal, go and find it on their list if it is there. And sometimes it'll say accepted in 2010, closed in 2012.
Okay.
Sometimes that's because it's a weak journal. Sometimes it's because the editor sued a pension, and he closed his journal. Okay. But sometimes it's because it's a predator one. And they charity do it saja. If they say to you, you pay us $500 and we will publish, probably not good. If you submit and it comes back within 1 week to say we accept with no revision, probably predator. All they want is your money. And Malasitas qualitas.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. It's very clear and very knowledge for us about how to submit journal. Yeah. Okay.
Rahasia saya, I have not done. I have not done too many articles. I'm trying to write some now, but it's a book sekali, so no time. Not enough time.
Because you are busy. Today I'm so busy actually.
Oh, that's okay. I enjoy this because I learn too. I learn a lot while you look for information to do a presentation like this. You learn a lot too. As you would know from your teaching, sometimes when you teach, you are teaching yourself, not just the students.
Yes. Okay, our time is up.
Yes.
3.3.
We
actually still one question, but it's same with my question, so it's already answered.
How we avoid predator
Yes.
radical. That's Jeremy.
Yes.
Asli mana? Jeremy asli NTT.
Oh.
And nama seperti Jeremy.
Jeremy. Mas
Oh,
Jeremy.
no.
Dari NTT. It's from NTT.
No.
Jeremy Christian. Oh.
Mungkin Batak.
Jeremy still in here?
No, it's okay.
He's not reply.
Ya, Bu.
Ya.
Ya.
Dari NTT, Mas.
Asli mana, Mas?
Maaf, Bu, kurang patah-patah.
Oh, dari mana aslinya, Mas Jeremy?
Tanjung Pinang, Bu.
Oh, from Tanjung Pinang.
Tanjung Pinang. Wow. Singapore, ya? Singapura, dekat.
Dekat.
Ya, setengah jam saja.
Ya.
Sedikit lebih. Ya, teman saya asli Tanjung Pinang. Ibu Yeni Chu, Dr. Yeni Chu, now at Griffith University, asli Tanjung Pinang.
Oh, still have one small question? One or two?
Okay.
Oh, from
Ranti.
Ranti. Do you have any tips or motivation to increase self-confidence in writing?
Yeah, tips for motivation to do. If you think you have a strong article or problem, it motivates you. If you involve kalau ada rasaran dengan hal itu, then it makes it strong. But to motivation to do your first one, start with a small article, and just slowly increase in the size. I think, and to exchange with your friends for reading your article. I think everybody, when they first start, percaya diri sedikit rendah, a little bit low. When everybody starts, because everybody thinks that they're not very good or it's not perfect. The other one is try not to think that it has to be perfect. It is not a Nobel Prize. Unless you are writing for a Nobel Prize, do you know a Nobel Prize in Sweden, like the top researchers of the world? They give out. It is good to be almost have no mistakes through it, and your English is good and your format. But no one is perfect, so it doesn't have to. So don't think that you must be perfect, and use an editor or friend to help you. Those, what do we call Santuan Archaea? That's important. Follow the structure. First of all, use a structure that you know other people use as confidence, because it is already a good structure. It is correct. Write it in and then have it edited or fix all of your mistakes and grammar, and then have a friend review it for you. And maybe even if you write 2 or 3 pages, like a small essay, and then ask people to read it. Is it clear? And if they say yes, then that is your confidence. If they say no, it's not clear, fix it up a little bit, return it to them and say, could you have another read? Is it now clearer? And when they say yes, it is clearer, you go. Your motivation, your confidence goes up. Because motivation usually too is about a problem that you would like to solve. That is one of the biggest motivations. Like Ibu Wayu would like to solve the problems of Sumber Mata Air. And so she feels strong about that, and that is the motivation to do it.
Yes, right.
Because it helps the community. One of the big motivators too is to help the community before you help yourself. Yeah, Ibu, ulangi, you were speaking. Did you?
I'm sorry, I speak to my kid.
Oh, did you? That's okay. And
He
what did
just
you
wake up
go?
from he just wake up from his tech nap.
Right, right. Very good.
Yeah, so the statement from you, I think we should just writing, no matter not consider about anyone else, just writing, just write and do not consider about others. And that's why it's the first step for us to make a good journal.
Yes.
Is it
And maybe,
true?
and for your first journal, make
Mhm.
it something that you are really interested in or a little bit passionate about. Then you will make sure that you finish the writing. You will go through, you will take the step.
Mhm.
Lanka demi
Yeah,
Salanka.
actually, I have 5 or 6 journal, but no citation from my. So
Right.
I just try to write and writing, but I
Ask
think it's
you,
not good enough.
Ibu Wayu, you have to cite Ibu Chandra in your next article.
Yes, so that's
Ibu
your
Chandra,
secret.
you have to cite Ibu Wayu in your
Yeah,
next article.
yeah, that's.
Drink
I
coffee
will ask my
together.
students to cite my article to.
Yes,
Yeah, no
yes.
citation for about. I start to make a journal 2014.
Did you
Only
really?
one side, yeah,
Very
from my thesis, and then
yes.
from my research. But I think because I make in international journal, so just a few cite my journal. But I don't know, maybe not to interest for others.
And sometimes a good name
Mhm.
to your article will make it readable. Maybe if the title, the Jadwal, is a little bit controversial, people go, wow, what is she going to say in this article? And that's for your abstract. A little bit controversial, but people go, oh, I have to read this. And because sometimes they read the title or read the abstract and go, oh, sudah bosan, sudah membaca tentang hal itu, tidak terus lagi. But you give, so your title draws people in. The first 2 lines of your abstract, the first 3 lines of your abstract draw people in.
Okay, I will try to. Oh,
Use colorful words that have expression, so that people go, oh, I must read this. Menarik sekali.
yeah. I just try
Uh,
to write, not making interested.
yeah,
Yeah,
no,
yeah.
we
Oh
must.
no,
And that,
I know.
see, I could
I
have
know.
spoken about another thing. What they talk about, 2 different styles of writing. One
Yes.
style is very standard, and what they say is facts, data, discussion. And some people call that dry, no humor. The other one is to be a little bit controversial,
Mhm.
to open up a little bit more with descriptive language,
Mhm.
and to make it interesting for the people. So they call one, oh, I did have that here. I'll just show you. You don't mind staying? I'm carrying on a little bit.
Yes.
Where is that other one? Look at it. No. I had another article to show. And it looked at that 2 types, where there's 2 types, what they discuss. Yes, here it is here. I'll try and put that up now as a share. I'm sorry. There we go. There it is. And this talks about the 2 different styles.
Mhm. I think
Um,
Yes.
Would Paula berbeda, Paula yang berbeda ada dua Paula, the analytical tradition and the continental. Any fact, just discuss, come down closer to your conclusion. This one, think wide about what solutions are, the problem is and solutions are. This is more very much a social science. This one is more like a technical science. This one is more described as social science.
So,
And
which one is difficult from this, Mister? Or we can use both?
You can use both, yes, and maybe integrate both, but it's a little bit like mixed methods. Use strong data that pushes you in one direction. That is this one, that is pushing you in a certain direction. Look, it says theoretical aims is to analyze, develop precise definitions of key concepts. That is the hard one. This one here, on the other side, is to be, it says use the word radically original interpretation of the word. Radical means be different. Think, and that's what Ibu, Wayu and people doing PhD, you have to be different. You have to look at something different and discuss that. A new perspective of looking down on the problem, or a new way of researching the problem. But a lot of times, if they call it metaphysical PhD, in other words, it's the concept and how you look at the research and how it is done. And that's what you find for your PhD. A master's thesis is really to describe how to do things. It is for practitioners, as we say. Practitioners, the people who work in the field, for government people in government departments, how to implement programs. But then for the PhD, it is what are the new concepts in the program, and so on. So there's that little bit of difference. But that we were talking far too much. I talk too much. Sorry, maaf ya. That you know, what do they call it? Charawet. Siriga charawet or ocha. I think in NTT they call talkative people ocha.
Oh, cerewet.
Yeah, charawet. Yeah.
Talkative, yeah.
Talkative,
but it is okay.
But actually, yeah, already up to 20. Adding 20 minutes from you.
Yeah, okay, no problem.
I apologize from the committee because adding too much time for you
No,
to answer my question.
No, you don't have to apologize. I enjoy.
Yeah.
And I like my colleagues at UBI. I think we've had good discussion and learned to appreciate what we are doing. And so on.
Okay. Actually, there is still a few questions, but we will keep it, and maybe you could answer in the other webinars. Maybe if because the time is up too much. And now the session. Yes, sudah lama. The session for documentation. I need the picture from you and the attendance. Please on camera. And Mas Agus, do you ready for make a photo? Pak Agus ya?
Mas Agus.
Mas Agus.
Okay, siap.
Okay.
Mr. Paul, did you remember about the chibi action in the?
Oh yes.
In
Well, I
Sedang
met you
Biru
in
ya.
the not only in Sedang Biru, but while the ADP presentation.
Yeah,
In Sedang Biru
yeah, yes.
also.
Okay, we can start take the documentation. Okay, please turn on the camera for the participant. Okay, we have 3 slides, so we can start from the first slides. Okay, 1, 2, and 3. Okay, wait a minute. One, okay. Next slide, the second slide. 1, 2, and 3. Okay, the last slide. Okay, steady. 1, 2, and 3. Okay, we're done. Thank you very much.
Makasih Mas.
Thank you, Mas Agus.
Matur nuwun, Pak. Matur nuwun.
Yeah, matur. Yes,
Yes.
yes. Bahasa
Okay.
Jawa. Yeah,
In Chinese, we can see
Japanese.
谢谢
yes. Yes, yes. Terima kasih.
谢谢
Yes.
arigato gozaimasu.
Yeah, come on. Come on, Vietnam.
Oh, Vietnam.
Yeah.
Sawadikap.
Yes,
Sawadikap,
yeah,
Thailand.
yeah.
Okay.
We are all cosmopolitan.
Yes.
Yeah. Globalization.
Yes.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Paul.
Okay.
No,
Thank
thank
you very
you,
much.
Mas Agus, Ibu
Paul.
Bayu, Ibu Chandra, dan lain-lain.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you again.
Okay,
Mr.
thank you
Paul.
guys sudah datang.
Yeah, and thanks for
Okay.
attending today's webinars on behalf on 3-in-1 Program Fisheries Agribisnis Department Committee. I would like thank you for the presentation. Thank you for the lecturer, Bu Wahyu Handayani, Bu Tiwi Utami, and then the students
Pak
and
Zainal already
Pak
come.
Zainal ada ya? Tadi biasanya Pak Zainal muncul juga. Pak Zainal juga terima kasih for today. Yeah, from Bu Tiwi, success for us. We say success for us, and we will meet again for the third webinars, Mr. Paul with Pak Edi Susilo and Pak Wildan will moderator to you for the next webinars. Okay.
And Pak
And
Sadly
last statement.
said to me that you have contacted him already.
Yes.
Yes.
So for the last closing ceremony, I hope our attendants also could join with us, with Mr. Paul and Pak Sadli from Papela Island. Yeah, from Papela Island, yeah, Mr.
No, Desa Papela on Roti Island. Pulau
Desa
Roti,
Papela.
Desa Papela.
Yeah. Desa Papela Pulau Roti Island. Yeah.
Yeah, Roti Island. Yes.
I'm sorry for my
No
mistake.
No, that's good.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
We talk again soon. Thank you all.
Yes, thank you.
Okay.
Okay, thank you very much.
Very good. Yes. Okay. Thank you. Cheers.
Bye-bye.
Sayonara.
Sayonara.
Sayonara semuanya, terima kasih. Oke, ini sudah absen ya. Mungkin langsung di lift mungkin Mas ya. Terima kasih untuk semuanya yang hadir.